Penn State at UCLA. Penn State favored in this one on FanDuel by 25.5. The over-under set at 50.5. This is not going to be a game that should not be a game. However, the response from Penn State is going to be very interesting in this one. Penn State just coming off that loss to Oregon where the offense did not look good for 3 quarters. They eventually turned it on, got to overtime in the second or in the fourth quarter there, but in the second overtime, Drew Allar throws the interception. I feel like this is Penn State's opportunity to do what Ohio State did last year after they lost and say, we're turning this around. We're going to get more aggressive, albeit it was on defense rather than offense, but we're going to get more aggressive. We're going to throw the ball down the field, and Drew Allar is going to be set up well for the big games, so that way he's not playing super conservative rather than, we'll just get through this UCLA game here. I think this is a game where you could see Penn State open it up, kind of go crazy a little bit, throwing to their guys downfield, maybe be a little reckless with it. Honestly, that's what I hope to see. If I don't see that, I'm very concerned about Penn State moving forward.
You love the word reckless tonight.
I do. I'm feeling very reckless. Yeah.
I don't think. I think JR being reckless is very different than other people being reckless. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah, that's true.
Max Ellis just threw a comment out there. No head coach, no offensive coordinator, no defensive coordinator at UCLA. Sounds like the tight ends coach will be play calling.
Yeah, did they say where Tino Sinceri is going? I didn't see that. I saw that he was leaving.
We just know he's leaving LA.
Yeah.
Because that's where UCLA is. They're in LA.
Yeah. In case you didn't know.
Yeah. So, man, I feel like I'm a Debbie Downer. This is going to be a win for Penn State. I don't think that's in question.
No, it's not. The in question is how they respond and how do they look, right?
And I'll be honest, there is nothing in the past 9 years of James Franklin being the head coach, nor in the past 2.5 years of Drew Allar being quarterback, that makes me have confidence that they are going to turn it on all of a sudden. And then if I can go one step further, Ohio State lost to Oregon last year, and then they were on a bye. And so, there's a little bit of revisionist history here because a lot of people saw that win or that loss, and that's
great
funny.
Comment by Sonny, by the way.
That's great, Sonny.
If you're listening on podcast, he said, "Come for the Big Ten football previews, stay for the geography lessons."
Listen,
yes.
I have one job. It's to be cheeky and to remind people that UCLA is in LA. Anyway,
yes.
There's a little revisionist history, and this is not aimed at you, JR. It's more just as you think about Ohio State's schedule last year. They lost to Oregon. They went on a bye, and then they almost lost to 6-6 Nebraska. And
sure, but that was because of the offense, though, not the defense.
Yes. But my point is, I'm not so sure that even if there is a turnaround, I'm not so sure it's sudden. And again, Penn State's going to LA. They have to cross the time zone. I just think they're going to be sluggish. If I'm just being totally honest, I think they were sluggish a year ago against UCLA. I think they're going to be sluggish again.
So what gave you hope that Illinois would not look sluggish after they lost 53-0 and that Penn State will look sluggish after losing to the number 2 team in the nation by a touchdown in double overtime?
Bert.
Okay. So you think Bert Bielema is that much better of a coach than James Franklin?
Well, Bert and Luke Altmaier.
Okay.
And also there's a difference between how Indiana won that game versus Oregon. And remember, Indiana was at home. They're super efficient. And so if you have an off night against Indiana, that's just what they do to you, right? Okay. Whereas, I think Penn State Thank you, Penn State guy. Thank you. Proving my point. Yes. Everyone's a better coach than Franklin. I don't know if I fully agree with that, but
I understand the sentiment at this
Hyperbole.
point in time. Yes.
Hyperbole. I appreciate that for my point. But I also think like Oregon was not trying to be as efficient offensively. They were trying to attack downfield. Like they had a more not pro style offense, but a more explosive attack that they were trying to put together. It wasn't always effective because Penn State defensively is very good, but it didn't lend to the same issues that Indiana would give you. And then I just think I have not seen it from Penn State, especially without Tyler Warren. So that's where I'm like, it's about, some of it's just about feel. Maybe this is wrong, but I don't sense that Penn State knows how to get it together, especially under Kotelnicki with Drew Allar as their quarterback.
I don't know. I just don't think they're just gonna fall in and lose that easily, right? Like I get everybody's down on Penn State, and I'm down on them too. Like I don't feel great about Penn State, but some of the stuff that's being said about them right now in the national media and some of the local podcasts and some of what you're saying right now too, with it being like they're never gonna change, they're never gonna do anything. Like if they are ever going to change, it's right now. Right? Like this is the point right now. I'm not necessarily saying they will, and I'm 100% confident they will, but if they're going to, it's right now. This is the time. So I'm going to predict that Penn State does change. I don't know if they will or not. You could be right. I'm kind of 50-50 on it all. But if there was ever a time that it has to happen, it's right now. You are facing the worst team in the Big Ten. You're going on the road. You don't have to worry about getting booed in your own stadium or anything. Go out there, take some shots, throw the ball down the field, and you know what? If it's 3-0 and UCLA is winning at halftime, just run the ball with Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen in the second half, and you'll win 17-10. I mean, it's obviously not good, but still, like. This is a game where Penn State needs to come out firing in the first half. And if James Franklin doesn't do that, he should be fired on the spot after this game because he has obvious issues with this team and not being able to fire the ball down the field, not making his quarterback confident. And if you can't do that against freaking UCLA, you can't do it against anybody.
Yeah. But to your point, though, the time to change was before the whiteout.
I mean, maybe, right? Like, you trusted your defense. Like, you should not have been where you were at. There should have been more change. I'm with you there. But I don't know if you necessarily go into that game like, we got to throw the ball all over the field. And they did end up throwing the ball down the field in the fourth quarter, right? So they can do it. I don't know. Like, I'm thinking back to Ohio State a lot last year. And maybe that's wrong, but even like James Franklin said, Jim Knowles is going to get up in front of the team this week and tell them this is what we did at Ohio State after our first loss. If you want to win a national championship, do this.
Yeah, so this is where and this is what's different, I think, between Michigan to Ohio State to Penn State is Ohio State didn't copy. Like they didn't copy and paste Michigan's model, right? Now they copied some.
In some ways they did. Yeah, they went to less tempo, they huddled and they worked through some, lower play volume and stuff like that. Not against Oregon, but yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, but like their identity was still, we're going to have explosive athletes on the outside. We're going to air the ball, particularly in the playoff. Like they knew who they were by the end of the season. I'm not sure Penn State, it almost feels like Penn State is trying to just do what Ohio State did. And like, I get the whole Jim Knowles thing. Jim Knowles doesn't have Caleb Downs. Like Jim Knowles doesn't, like, he's got good players. I'm not saying that he doesn't have good players, but I think Jim Knowles is a very good defensive coordinator. I don't think he's it. Like I think.
I mean, he won a national championship.
He won a national championship. He's a piece, but I'm talking about the package. Like, I don't really care if Jim Knowles goes up and talks about this is how we did it last time. Is he bringing Chip Kelly and Ryan Day through that door? No.
No, but who needs to have the mentality change the most on this team? Drew Allar or James Franklin?
Yes.
I would say Drew Allar.
I think it's both.
Well, I think James Franklin is willing to be a bit more aggressive on offense. I mean, he's shown that in his career before, right? Like, he's willing to do that. It's not his first thing he does, but he's more willing to do that. The the issue here is that Drew Allar in these big games is not. I mean, we said it from the beginning. I know James Franklin's getting a lot of crap right now, and deservedly so. He doesn't win top 10 games. But in as much as talk there is about, like, Drew Allar doesn't fit the offense, and you've pointed that out, and I think that's a good point, at the same time, Drew Allar just needs some confidence. He needs some confidence. He needs to throw the ball down the field. What better time to do it against UCLA? I guess that's my entire point, is, like, what better time to do it against UCLA?
And I don't disagree with you. I'm not sure I buy it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm 50-50. I'm not sure I buy it either, but I'm going to lean on what should happen. When I'm 50-50, I'm going to lean on what should happen. Yeah. And we'll see. My prediction is 45-10.
Yeah.
That Penn State wins this game 45-10. Nico gets, something happen in the second half and they score a couple times. Maybe. We'll see. But if the score is what you predict, Penn State's not winning a national championship.
No. Well, and right now I don't have them making the playoff. I've got 31-6, which would be a UCLA cover by a half a point. I think they're going to be sluggish. I think he will throw downfield at times, but and Penn State guy makes a good point. The first 3 games they tried to force the ball downfield and it didn't look right and it was a struggle.
Well, that's because Drew Allar had no confidence. He didn't want to throw the ball down the field.
But and I think that this is my thought is I'm not sure he's ever felt confident outside of Tyler Warren throwing the ball downfield. Now he's got better receivers and it still doesn't look good.
I don't know. I just think you're back up against the wall. This is the point when it shows who you are the most. If Drew Allar is ever going to be a successful quarterback at the NFL, college football, whatever, it's at this point in time that he puts behind him whatever he has had in front of him these last few years, this year, everything, and he says, screw it, I'm going to go unleash and just go crazy because at this point, who cares?
I hope you're right. I honestly hope you're right because I picked Penn State to win the national championship preseason. And I honestly would, as much as I'm a Buckeye fan, I actually would love to see Penn State win. And yeah,
I mean, Drew Allar just has to be a difference maker. With Tyler Warren, he could be a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Without Tyler Warren, he needs to be the engine that makes this team go. If he's not, they don't win a national championship.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. But
yeah. Well, those 3 games at Iowa, at Ohio State, Indiana. They're all talking about Indiana in the chat right now. I think Indiana wins that game.
Yep. I agree.
I think Ohio State wins. Boy, Iowa might win.
No. Maybe.
At Iowa.
Maybe.
That Iowa offensive line and defensive line are just as good as Oregon's.
That would be sad. Could you, man? Is there a world where Penn State actually goes 7-5?
No, that doesn't happen. Who else do they lose to? They're not losing to
Nebraska.
No, they're not losing to Nebraska.
Oh man!
I mean, if they lose to Iowa, Ohio State, and Indiana, maybe. If they lose to all 3 of those, maybe the season is just crap and they all quit. I don't think that happens. So I guess there's a possibility, but no, I don't think Nebraska wins that game.
Yeah, I mean,
Not
I
with the
don't.
defensive line that Penn State has, not with the run stopping ability that they have, not with the offensive line. Even with the offensive line not playing great for Penn State, it's still way better than the Nebraska defensive line.
I don't. I'm not saying absolutely. I just, yeah, and just to be clear, Max, because this is a good point. It was double overtime to Oregon, and people are talking about it like it was a disaster. It's not a disaster, but I think if you look at their first 4 weeks and the trends, that's the concern.
Yeah, it's the entire story of Drew Allar and James Franklin. It's
Yeah.
not a disaster that they lost in double overtime to Oregon. You make a
No.
good point, Max. It's a disaster because James Franklin hasn't been able to win top 10 games. Drew Allar hasn't been able to be a confident enough quarterback, and when he has been confident, he's telegraphed his passes, i.e. Oregon last year, i.e. Notre Dame last year, right? Even the year before that, there were times when he did that. So, I mean, he didn't throw interceptions 2 years ago, but that's because he wasn't throwing the ball down the field at all. He needs to find the happy medium of I'm not just going to chuck it downfield and hope for the best and telegraph my throws, but I am going to be somebody that is willing to throw it downfield and trust my guys when I see favorable coverage or whatever it might be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, Max, you're right. It's that game should not make everybody think that Penn State's not going to win at all.
Yep.
But if Penn State comes out against UCLA and they looked like they looked against Florida International,
Yep.
I don't have a whole lot of hope.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.